The UPSC Prelims 2026 results are out, and if you would have failed in this prelims, let me ask you a question. Do you become an overnight failure just because you have failed this year's prelims? And to the aspirants who have cleared the prelims, do you become an overnight success just because you have cleared prelims? The answer is no for both the questions. Just a mere PDF released by UPSC, which actually tells you whether you have cleared prelims 26 or not, does not make you a success. At the same time, does not make you a failure either. Yes, that's absolutely right. You might have failed this one examination. However, what happens is aspirants try to feel or think as if they have failed in their entire life. But this is basically far from any reality. So this video is not for the aspirants who have cleared prelims. It is specifically for those lakhs and lakhs of aspirants who have not made it to the mains list this time around. So let us understand as to why failing in UPSC is a mere small failure which is a part of your life and not a failure of your entire life. So let us understand this in detail. Let us identify the reasons as to why you would have failed, and let us understand why it's not a failure in life, why you can still be a success in UPSC or otherwise as well. So first things first, this one result that is there, this one result is not equal to the entire life that is there. I hope that's clear. Now you have failed the prelims, fair enough. Right now you might be feeling lost, and trust me, that is normal. That is as normal as it can be. However, I do understand right now a lot of you might be questioning yourself. Did I do enough? Am I good enough? Do I have what it takes? Or am I rather a failure? Not just in this exam, but in this entire life. So, to all these aspirants, guys, please remember one thing, that you have simply failed an exam, and that is completely all right. You have not failed in life at all, right? Now, subsequently, there is the biggest myth that also floats. What is that biggest myth? That myth is coming from the negative thought process that is developing in your mind. And that negative thought process thinks that you failed in UPSC, so you are a failure. Now, that is absolutely not correct. You start thinking that you have failed as a person. Absolutely not. What you have actually failed is a cutoff. In fact, with respect to knowledge, expertise, the content that you may have, even with respect to that, you are not a failure. Why? That is because you prepared, you gave your everything, you were a serious aspirant, but still, what kind of paper it was, what kind of questions it was asked, what were your strengths, weaknesses, what was the paper which emphasized on. So there are a lot many things which is not even in your control, and even if it was and you would have still failed, that is still all right. Now, a few marks here and there can actually decide whether you want to write mains or not. It can decide your rank, it can decide your service, your attempt, whether you can give it again or not, so on and so forth. Give it attempt again because UPSC has now restricted the number of attempts a person can give once they are selected in one of the services. But the exam, the few marks can decide this. But can they change your character? Can they change your potential? Can they change your worth? Can they change how important you are for so many people in your life? It absolutely cannot change that. I hope that's clear. Now, having said that, after the results are out and when you could not make it, you might be also seeking sympathy, but stop doing that. First things first, Sympathy is basically the lowest of all virtues, right? What pain, what difficulty, challenges you might be feeling, no one else can actually replicate that or feel exactly that. So what you should start seeking right now, you should start seeking answers, right? So one thing is clear, you have just failed an exam, not the entire life. That being aside, now you need to focus back on what? On getting selected in your prelims in the upcoming year. So now you need to start seeking answers and not sympathy. So ask yourself, were your basics weak? Did you revise enough, or was your revision absolutely poor? And is CSAT the reason for your failure? Many aspirants, they actually fail in CSAT even though they have done exceptionally well in GS, ending up not getting the name in the list for mains. At the same time, did you guess too much? Was your guesswork good enough or not? What about the mock test? Did you give enough or just did too many and never revised them? And many a times is the time management, sir. I could not fill the OMR sheet. I knew the answers, but the time was not enough, so on and so forth. Now, when you answer these questions, make sure you are brutally honest and not simply going for blind motivation, thinking that, yes, I studied for just half an hour, still I reached here, so I am the best person ever. So if I give 4 hours, I can clear. Don't have these kind of fake analysis of your studies, fake analysis of your potential, etc. Be brutally honest with yourself as to where you fell short, right? At the same time, please remember that after this examination you gave prelims and you failed, but still you did not return empty handed. What you learned is an experience. UPSC would have by now developed discipline or built discipline in you, built reading habit in you, analytical thinking in you, writing skills in you, resilience in you, as well as consistency in you, provided you were a serious aspirant, right? So the result would expire, it's valid for this year. Next year there's going to be a different result, but the skills that you have acquired will always remain, and it will get compounded with more efforts, with the years of experience and the time to come in the future, and also in your near future with respect to the UPSC exam itself, right? So now remember, as I said, the exam does not define you, but your next move defines you. So either you can start blaming the luck, the system, the competition. This is a very negative way. I will strongly advise to not do so. What I would advise you to do is to rebuild, to analyze where you went wrong, what you did good, what not, to improve on the things, on your strengths as well as weaknesses, to revise better, to practice better, and to repeat this scenario but with better equipment at your disposal. So your response to this result would be, or should be, and in fact it is, greater than the result itself. And last but not the least, always remember that failing prelims is normal, but quitting is not normal, right? Normal thing would be to not quit. When I say not quit, it does not necessarily mean with respect to UPSC. You might basically think of doing something else, and maybe you prepare for some other exam or do some other thing. So that is moving ahead in your life and not quitting in your life and establishing yourself. Or a lot of aspirants are going to attempt it again, so that is good. Don't feel hopeless, don't quit, and go and get it again, do it again, perform again, but this time do it better, right? So if you have attempts remaining, fight better this time, right? If the attempts, for some of you attempts might be over, don't worry, build your life in a better way. Remember that failure is an event, never an identity. For those aspirants for whom attempts are remaining, fight it better, and I am going to specifically help you to ensure that you clear your prelims, mains, as well as the personality test. We will be there with you to guide you in every aspect of your UPSC examination, so that you get selected in the next results. So that's about it. Subscribe to UPSC with Tauha channel in order to learn, to know as to how to clear UPSC civil services examination. Thank you.